Hello again and welcome to the final video in the chapter Prompt Engineering. So in this, we're going to close off the topic of prompt engineering. We've gone through a bunch so far. We've already explained being clear and concise, providing context and background information, using specific words, keywords, and phrases. And our last point was asking questions in a certain way. Now, the final point here is around experimentation. When it comes to new technologies, but also technologies that revolve around artificial intelligence and providing things like prompts, we need to be very experimental. There will be a lot of trial and error, getting ChatGPT to understand your context, understand a bit of the background of what you want to achieve with it, the prompt you're after, and then being able to tailor those responses for you. So with a bit of experimentation, you will be able to get the right results that you're after. Now, when it comes to experimentation, I really want to emphasize on the fact that ChatGPT is a chatbot. So there is that chat aspect, and I feel like a lot of the trial and error, the experimentation should come from that chat aspect of this piece of technology. So what I've noticed is the best way for you to receive the prompts that you're after and get the best results out of ChatGPT is to provide an initial prompt and kickstart the process. Send a prompt, whether it's abstract or concrete, you'll be able to get a response, and from that you can now chat with the AI and ask it to modify the response it originally gave towards something more suited to what you're after. If we go back to our previous example where we were talking about this, describing a day in the life of a dog. So if I hit enter and I go back to that prompt, it'll give me the whole day in the life. Now it's very likely that you're going to send prompts to ChatGPT and receive a response nowhere near what you're after. And this is one example. So you may have just thought in your mind, I'll ask it to describe a day in the life of a golden retriever, and then found the response is very structured, too structured really for your liking, and that you would rather it be a story. Now, instead of rewriting this, I can just ask ChatGPT to write that in a story. Now, once it writes this as a story, it'll give me an introduction, complication, climax, resolution. It'll structure it the way a story should be structured. I can then decide to say, how about a poem, and expect ChatGPT to do exactly that. But what I think will go a really long way is once you've played around with ChatGPT a little bit, being able to communicate with it, chat back and forth, and be able to generate different responses within the same chat, understanding what prompted ChatGPT to give certain responses and being able to do that from the beginning. So if, for example, I've gone through this process, I started off with the day in the life of, then realized I need to ask it to write it as a story. The next time I come to do this, instead of going through the entire chat process, that's when I reword the statement from the beginning. So what I want you to do is jump straight into ChatGPT, play around with a bunch of different content generation methods, different prompts, go back and forth with this chat and really hone in on that skill of prompt engineering. And I hope that was super useful as we move into our next topic.